Hello Internet, it's time for another Wednesday's serial, doing something a little different because I'm kind of tired of going blah blah blah, this is what I think about my stack. You all pretty much know my opinions on the comics I'm getting, since the comics I'm getting seems to be dwindling down and down. Unless I have something to say, I've already said it, right? So let's take a look at something a little different. So today, I want to talk about the Luna Brothers work. Luna Brothers, look it up. They have a very distinctive Photoshop-y style to their art, and it's something that you don't see too much of, actually, on that level. And it gets mixed reactions, so you can kind of look it up, take a look at a few sample pages, and you can tell whether or not you can get behind that art or not. I think it's interesting. I guess it takes them more time, but the way I'm looking at it is it seems like they're able to create characters and spend some time doing that within their look, and then they're able to kind of quickly crank it out, which allows them to just kind of write a comic and then do specific art, but also just use all the advantages of the modern age, which, hey, if it lets them tell stories and do it quickly, and if they're doing cool, interesting new stuff for it, hey, that's awesome, and it's something different, and it's mixing up the scene a little. So let's talk a little bit about it. They only really have 3 things out, and they seem to have slowed down. One of the brothers has gone on to do a project that's 2 comics in, and usually their series run 40 issues. Not to say that all of them ever would, but that's been their model so far for 2 of the 3. And so, yeah. First up is Girls. This is basically like a bizarre horror movie. Some kid goes nuts on all the girls in the town and pretty much everyone in the town at a small local bar, and oh my gosh, things happen. Then he finds this naked woman as he's driving off pissed, and stuff happens, and then all of a sudden there's a lot more of these naked women, and they start tearing apart all the females in the town, and then they find a giant sperm in a cornfield, and things just go haywire, and they find themselves encased, and it's a really different kind of story. I feel like it's interesting, but a lot of the metaphors or things that they're trying to get to, a lot of them come to the surface and are addressed in a lot of ways, and it's interesting because it's like reading a hyper-condensed version of The Walking Dead. Like, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you should check this out. It's only 4 trades, so there's definite resolution, which is something The Walking Dead will never have, which, different things, obviously. But, yeah, it's a very different kind of horror story with a little bit of, like, the idea of beauty mixed in, which creates for some parables, and I kind of wish, I don't even think they needed to take more time, but they kind of go over a few ideas with a few characters multiple times. I think they could have done something new. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's an interesting comic, and it's something different. Totally check it out if you're looking for something a bit more off the wall. Next up is Ultra, a little bit more in most of our wheelhouses. It's about some superhero ladies, and there's some superhero men's too, but it's mostly on the ladies, as all their comics are. Kind of, Girls kind of breaks that, but yeah, no, it's always about women, them, can you blame them? And this one, yeah, is kind of like the paparazzi following superheroes, kind of in a way that, like, if there were randomly some superheroes to show up, kind of if it was corporatized and done in a way that we treat our celebrities, that's how they're looking at it, in a way that's so different from The Authority, if you were thinking that at all, which is a fine parallel to draw. And you just see all kinds of weird things happen. They also play in this idea of fate with a fortune teller, and that kind of comes up throughout the story. And this thing's only 1 trade, so just for the sake of expanding your dome a little and trying something really different and kind of modern, check this one out. It's a definite, tight, interesting read, and kind of spins some of the ideas that you put on superheroes and kind of makes you think about some of the comics a little differently. I mean, the whole idea of public menace or whatnot, or also, I mean, in some cases, what some superheroes should be doing. I mean, someone like Storm being on the X-Men, is really a waste. She could be doing a lot more good going around essentially being a relief worker and managing crops and stuff and making sure everyone could get fed and essentially end world hunger and a lot of other problems as per her ability to control weather. I mean, I know they've addressed some things where like the Torrens have to be wild or bullshit. So it's just kind of interesting. That angle isn't as explored, but it's definitely it makes you think, and it really is interesting to see how these two have taken the idea of superheroes and really taken it to task in a really confined work. So yeah, The Sword, and this is my favorite and definitively, unquestionably their strongest work, and frankly one of the stronger works in comics, period, as far as, you know, just something to expand the medium a little. It's Dara Bryden, and interestingly, this one's considered just an action drama. In a lot of ways, it really is just a superhero tale, just told with some more like mythological conventions, which isn't even that far from a lot of superheroes, right? So whatever, but it's a really interesting tale where you follow this girl who started off unable to use her legs, and then some bad things happen when some people come from an artifact, and you find out about her dad's history as the comic progresses. But she grabs this sword, the title playing in, and she not only is able to walk again and fend off some people just through pure rage at first, but she slowly gains superpowers, and it's really interesting because there's this whole parable and this idea of people talking about, you know, like how power corrupts and does all this, but I mean, for her, she realizes that she needs to stay grounded, and it's so easy for her because of where she started. I mean, just the ability to walk, the fact that that was healed for her, is just opens up the world for her, and that's all she really wanted and all the power she really wanted to gain from this. And what's interesting is I think it would have been more interesting metaphorically if they made it so in order for her to walk she had to hold on to the sword, though that's a really huge narrative constraint because suddenly this chick has to keep a sword strapped all the time, but it just heals her, so I don't know. But it's a really tight read, and if any of you have read this and had some other thoughts about this piece in particular, but any of the others certainly as well, please let me know. Comments, questions, if you'd like more suggestions for things probably a little bit outside your wheelhouse, love to give it to you. Just give me some frame of reference for what you're looking for. Anything else, death threats, you know, pop it below, PM, I don't care. Talk comics, people. Peace.